So here to solve this Tapa-Like Loop variation with a transparent rule where we can go over the clue cells. I'm seeing some places that will play out quickly in a new way. For instance, a 1, 1, 3 on the edge. The ones will always have to be through these corner cells. But notice now we're going to have a clue that's going to come like through this cell and take 3 more around it. So that's curious. This 1, 4 here will have to take this corner cell for this 1. And notice we now have a group of 3 and a group of 4, and they're sort of growing out. So this is the 4, 4 set. That's now actually putting in another set of clues. And notice a 1, 4, 4 will need to have a single 1 around it, and there can't be an edge cell. This corner cell is now taken, so this has to be that 1. So that means this comes down. This can't close in itself, so the 4, 4 is going to have to look like this. This still can't close in itself, so the 2, 3 is going to look like this. We've now marked off these cells. This is a 3 size group, so it has to come back up. In this corner, we have just enough space for this 4 to form like this, so that's how it goes. So some good starts in the upper right. I'm not sure we were meant to do that start there, but at least how the ones work in these corners made that an easy start. I think there's another place to start, is this lower left, and there are cells like this cell and this cell we can't reach into and still get 2 size groups in. So we can start with these loop pieces. This 2, 4 has to use all of its cells, and this 2, 3, like this clue has to get out in 1 more cell. So this has to really go straight. This has to keep going straight, and that's going to force this pattern into the grid. A 1, 1, 1 still needs to have 3 corner cells used for it, and this cell can't be a 1. So this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1. And for this clue on this 2, 3, it has to get out of this space very quickly. So we have all these cells we can't reach to. This has to come straight up. This has to come straight up. This now is a 3. This looks to be a 2, plus probably this cell, but it can't take more. So this has to come across for the 3. This is the first 4. This turns up. That actually makes this a 3 and a 2 around this 2, 3 clue. So a lot of quick tracking we're doing here. 2, 2, 2 clue can't come into the middle, so this is going to have to come up, and this comes over. This cell is going to keep coming up and will join somehow to be a 3. We don't know that for sure yet, but maybe let's come back over here and think about this 2, 3, 3. We have 1 loop end coming in, and if it came through the center, it would be 3 large, but then there's no more space for a 2 in this space, so that's not going to work. So what we have are 8 cells, and they're all used by these loop ends. So this has to come like this, and this has to come like this. This loop end and this loop end don't connect, so they join up here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ends, and this would be a 5th end. So to get an even number of ends in the lower right, this has to connect on its own. So this looks like this. If this end didn't join to this end, it would have to be at least 3 more large, but this will be 3 large, so these ends have to come together straight away. That means this end and this end have to join for the 3, and this is the remaining 1 for this clue. That means this comes straight up. This cell isn't reached. All the cells around this 2, 6 now have to be used, and this 1, 1, 3 has to have this end coming straight across. So we've got this pattern in the grid. If all the cells around this 2, 6 are used except for this cell, that means around this 2, these are the only cells that are used. That puts this in the grid, this in. This 6 has to take all the remaining cells, so this closes the top left of the grid. This end and this end have to connect, and so now we have to figure out how do we get a 1 and a 6 in the space. The 1 can be this cell or this cell. Again, it has to be a corner. But if it were this cell, it would close off on itself. So this is that end. That means this cell is not reached. The 5 has to take these, and to get as many as 6, we join up and around. So a pretty fun use of this variation, where some of the clue patterns may not have been common to you, and that may have given difficulty to this puzzle. I think I would definitely say I'd be open to a lot more Tapa-Like Loop transparent puzzles going forward. This had a lot of good flow and a lot of good interactions across these different clues at different sizes. So hopefully you got something from how I solved this puzzle, and we'll see you again soon.